Hi, this is Rachel coming to you with this week's Sparkle of Shabbat. This week I wanted to talk a bit about experiencing sweetness and bitterness at the same time. We talked a little bit last week about preparing for a journey, and for those of us celebrating Passover this week, we are supposed to feel as though we too made the exodus out of Egypt, and I've been reflecting on that a lot this week, and how we ate our sandwich made of the bitter herbs and also the sweet charoset, which we use to represent the mortar that the Israelites used to build the different buildings that we had to build when we were slaves. And I wanted to share a story that really made a big impact on me. And it's a bittersweet story. It involves my mother-in-law, and by way of very quick background, we have a really playful relationship with each other. We're kind of like a Lucy and Ethel combination when we're together and we're up to something. And also by way of background, in case you haven't noticed, I am a girly girl, so I get teased for being a girly girl and maybe a little bit, I don't know, princessy in different situations, more in terms of all of my feminine accoutrements. Anyway, so we were actually up in rural New Jersey, where my husband is from, and it was for my father-in-law of blessed memory for his unveiling. And we were actually approaching the cemetery, and it's a rural cemetery. And we all got out of our cars, and my mother-in-law actually was coming from a different location than we were, so we were all meeting in the cemetery. And I'm walking towards her, and we all have tears in our eyes because it's a very difficult and sad thing to go through. Nobody should know that type of pain, but I think it's part of life. Anyway, we are approaching my father-in-law's gravestone. My mother-in-law has tears in her eyes, and I remembered that I forgot to lock the car doors. So I said to my husband, Seth, Seth, lock the car. And I think I must have kind of called it out. And my mother-in-law is teasing me, and she says, Rachel, nobody's going to steal your purse in the middle of a cemetery. And it made me laugh so hard because she likes to make fun of me and make fun of my girliness and what have you. And actually, she was right. Nobody was going to steal my purse in the middle of this rural cemetery. And I turned to her and I said, Mom, you have such a good sense of humor. And here she has tears in her eyes, and she makes me laugh, and she has a laugh. And she looks at me and she says, honey, you have to. And I never forgot it. It made me stop at that moment, and I have never forgotten that moment since. The concept that we would be walking towards my father-in-law's gravestone preparing for this unveiling, and my mother-in-law would stop in her tracks and not miss a beat and make fun of me and make a joke, and that we would have a laugh through our tears and continue moving towards the gravestone to have the ceremony. And I never forgot the concept of existing with bitter and sweet at the same time, and what a role model my mother-in-law was and is for that in my life, about the idea that we do experience different things and that we have to experience them simultaneously, and that when we're on a journey, we have to welcome those things and to be willing to experience them, the bitter and the sweet, and maybe embrace both at the same time. So my sparkle for this week would be, may we all have the strength and the courage to keep moving forward in our journey, in our present day journey, and as we imagine that we were Israelites as well. May we have the strength for the bitter and the sweet to arrive at a beautiful destination. Shabbat Shalom.